welcome to DIY Crafts. So today it is pretty cold outside, and I don't know about you, but at least on snowy days or freezing cold days, a nice hot cup of chocolate is actually in store. So I'm going to teach you guys how to do two things. One, I'm going to teach you guys how to make your own hot chocolate at home with simple ingredients that you may or may not have at home. And then I'm going to teach you guys how to make the ever-increasing popular cocoa bombs, which looks very much like this. Although if you go online, theirs are much prettier than mine. So it's kind of a messy craft, something that's super fun to do with kids because it's so messy. It does require some artistic ability and some patience. So things that you'll need, you will need chocolate chips. And you can either melt the chocolate chips in the microwave, 30-second intervals, just keep tossing it around, or you can do it in a double boiler. So I have a pot of hot water right here, and then I have my melted chocolate. Look how delicious that looks. And then I just have a brush right here, which works really well. So feel free to use a brush. You can use a rubber spatula. Either one will work great. Other things that you'll need, if you have them, is some type of silicone mold. For the most part, it doesn't matter what it is. So I have here heart-shaped ones because I figured if you get the hang of this and you really enjoy doing this, you can do this for a Valentine's Day gift to a friend or a lover or nieces and nephews and whatnot. So silicone mold, super helpful. If you don't have a silicone mold, you can use tin foil to make your molds. It's just not as easy. And I'll show you guys what it looks like with the silicone molds and what it looks like with tin foil molds. The other final option is if you have those tin cupcake molds, these are super helpful. They actually come out pretty cool in these. So lesson here, you need some type of mold to make your cocoa bombs. So you might be asking yourself, what in the world is a cocoa bomb? I've never heard of such a thing. Me neither, until a couple days ago. So cocoa bomb basically is a heart-shaped or a round ball-shaped bomb, much like a bath bomb, that you insert different toppings. So first off, cocoa is what you're going to want in them because it is a cocoa bomb. So you're going to want to take some kind of cocoa mixture. And then you can put in mini marshmallows. Some people put in caramel, jimmies, you name it, whatever you like in your hot chocolate, put in there. If you are like me and you love fluff, and I'm disappointed because I don't have any in my house at the moment, but if you have fluff, you can put fluff inside your cocoa bomb. That way when you put it in milk, it's going to melt, and then you're going to have hot chocolate with fluff already in it, mini marshmallows already in it, caramel already in it. Super exciting. All right, so first things first, we're going to put this off to the side. You're going to take your mold, like so, and all you're going to do, you're going to take your brush, and you're just going to coat the inside of your mold. Now, you don't want to make it too thick, but you do want to make sure that you get it all the way around. So I'm going to make sure that I completely coat the inside pretty well. And I don't want to see any of that red. So the convenient part about this being red is if I do it right, I won't see any of that red. So this is where that brush comes in. It makes it a little bit easier to do this. And go ahead and do like a decent sized coat. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to put it in the freezer and let it freeze the mold so we can pop it out of the silicone. So I'm going to do two because you want a top layer and you want a bottom layer. And if you are doing this at home, you probably want to take your chocolate out of your double boiler. That way it cools down a little bit, because when it comes time to joining the two, if your chocolate is too hot, you're going to have a really hard time joining the two. It's just going to end up melting as you brush on the chocolate, which I've learned. So I'm going to share my mistakes with you guys so you guys don't make them. Alrighty. So, say that's pretty good. Big chocolatey mess in there. I'm just going to do two. And it's just coated all the way around. I coated the wall, I coated the bottom, and we're going to put it in the freezer and come back. So give me 2 seconds. Let me put this in the freezer. All right, so if you made a mold out of your tin cupcake foil tin, cupcake wrapper, excuse me, which you could also do this with a regular cupcake tin and just put tin foil over it, or tin foil on the inside of it and fill it with chocolate. Either one, it works okay. It's not the greatest. The silicone mold really is the way to do it. If you did do it with this, I just want to show you guys how it looks. So this is how it looks. It's kind of a big mess, but if you put this in a mug and then add a little bit of milk and some water, put it in the microwave, it is absolutely phenomenal. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and put this in a glass container. Just going to put it right on in there, just like that. And then all I'm going to do is add a little bit of milk, and I just want to show you guys what it looks like, the finished product. So I got some milk. I'm going to go ahead and add the milk in here. So if you're like me, I don't really like my hot chocolate made with milk entirely, so I'm going to do half milk, half water, and I'm going to pop it in the microwave. So we'll do that. So if you do all milk, in my opinion, it comes out a little bit too rich. So I like part milk, part water. So I'm gonna put this in the microwave while I show you guys how to make the rest of the bottom. So bear with me for a moment. All right, well, that's working its magic. I went ahead and used a different mold. This one's a little bit harder because it's brown. It's not red like the other one. And I made some circular ones. So that's where I got this one from. So the thing is, to get the mold out, you just want to kind of break the edges a little to see if you can disconnect the top half. So just kind of pull away nice and slowly. And then you're just going to push up from the bottom very carefully. And if you do it okay, it'll come out in one piece. This one we're going to have to touch up because there's a hole in the bottom, and I don't really want to see through them. So we'll put that there. But I have 4 more to mess with. So again, I'm just going to pull it away and push up ever so slightly. There we go. So this one's completely full. Put that off to the side. And again, I'm just going to try and pull this off. Just literally pulling it in one direction and another, and then slowly popping it out to get my little balls out. Ooh-wee, ready already. It's very exciting. All right, so same thing, just nice and gently. If you're constantly getting it to break on the bottom, you probably want to put a little bit more chocolate sauce on the bottom before you put it in the freezer. So again, I'm going to pull this. I'm just going to pop it out right here. Woohoo! There we go. Pretty cool. So this one I cheated because this one has a really cool design on the bottom. All right. So now, what are we going to put inside of it? That's the ultimate question. So I've already put some milk chocolate and some cocoa and some mini marshmallows in this one. So I'm going to show you guys how to make your own hot chocolate mix if you're at home and you don't have hot chocolate mix. So first things first, you'll need some kind of cocoa powder. I am a super fan of the Special Dark, so I got Special Dark cocoa powder. You can use regular cocoa powder. It's totally up to you. But your ratio for this, you're going to do 1 part cocoa powder to 2 parts sugar. Okay? So it could be half a cup. It could be a tablespoon, as long as you're doing 1 to 2. So I'm going to go ahead and put in 1 tablespoon of cocoa powder. I'm going to clean my spoon off to the best of my ability, so I'm not totally mixing and matching here. And then I have here powdered sugar. If you don't have powdered sugar, regular sugar works, but powdered sugar is kind of the way to go here. So because I did 1 part cocoa powder, I'm going to do 2 parts powdered sugar. So go ahead and put in 2 tablespoons of that powdered sugar. And then all I'm going to do, I'm going to take my toothpick and I'm just going to mix it together here. I'm going to take this back, that over there, do this over here because I got some kind of chunks in there. So if you want to keep this cocoa powder, you are more than welcome to. Put it in a nice airtight container. Mason jars work great. If you don't want it to lump up and get chunky, what you can do is add a pinch or 2 of cornstarch, and that'll just prevent it from getting all cakey on you in the future. And this should last anywhere between 6 months and a year. It's not something that really goes bad at all. But that is homemade cocoa. For hot chocolate, just add water or milk, whichever you choose, or a little bit of both, and you can have your own plain Jane hot chocolate. But we don't want plain Jane hot chocolate here. We're going for fancy and exciting and gift giving, and we're all about the crafts. So we're going to take like a half a tablespoon or whatever we can fit into this cocoa bomb. I'm going to go ahead and put it right on in there. My fingers are really warm, so the chocolate's melting in my hands here. And then I'm going to go ahead and put like 1 or 2 marshmallows in here. And then I'm going to take a topper, which is the other half. I'm going to go ahead and put it right on top. And just like that. So what you can do here is you can take the brush and brush it, or you can kind of just put it right in there and seal a couple of the sides and go ahead and put it back in your mold. All right, and that's all you're going to do. You're going to put it back in the freezer and let it seal up. Wicked messy craft, but super fun and very much rewarding. All right, so the same thing. These ones have holes in it, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a little bit of sauce and kind of put a little on the bottom here just to seal it. Put it on my tin foil. Get rid of some of the chocolate on my hands. And I'm going to go ahead and add that cocoa powder to it. And so when you give this as gifts, you can say add, depending on the size of your bomb, you can say add 1 or 2 bombs to 1 8-ounce mug. So for a giant bomb like this, I might not do 2, I might just do 1. But if I'm doing little ones that are just round, I might go for 2. The one I made in the cupcake tin was huge. As you saw, I had to kind of squish it in my mug. So that's probably going to be more than what I need. But like I said, you can add whatever you want to the inside. This is also a really good recipe too if you're a fan of Lindt chocolate. This is kind of how they make them. They do 1/2, fill it with something absolutely delicious like chocolate ganache, and put the other half on and then pop it in the freezer to seal it together. So, same thing. I'm going to go ahead and put the cover on here. And I'm actually just going to put it in here because it's kind of falling apart already on me. And I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to show you guys how to cheat. If your chocolate is constantly melting with your hands being so warm, or your sauce is a little bit too warm, you can go ahead and take a plastic bag. And this could be a Ziploc bag. This could be plastic wrap, whatever you have. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off the very tip of it and make like a piping bag. Scissors are helpful. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut the very tip of it here. Might be a little bit too much. And then I'm going to go ahead and use this and put a little bit of chocolate in it. Okay, so there's a little chocolate in there. I'm going to go ahead and squish this down to where my hole is. You don't have to put a bunch in here. And obviously if you have your own piking bags, it's the way to go. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to pike some of that chocolate to cover up my hole. Maybe give it a little cool little swirl. Same thing. And then I'm just going to seal my edges here. So go ahead and seal around the crack. Might open this back up and add a little bit more. Same thing, squish that all the way down. And again, if your chocolate's too hot, it's not going to work. So I'm gonna do that real quick. Seal the sides real quick. And I'm gonna go ahead and throw this in the freezer before it gets any worse. And here are the hearts that we did earlier. So same thing, if you have the hearts, use them. If not, like I said, any mold work. Same situation, you're gonna pull apart the sides just to kind of get the sides off, and then you're just gonna pop up ever so slowly, and just like that, and just plop it off. And then you have a beautiful heart-shaped mold to fill and put whatever you want in. Same thing with the second one. Just gonna pop those off to the side, pop it up ever so slowly. And then this one's a little bit bigger, so you'll be able to put a lot more in here. And once you put them together, oh no, I lost part of it. It's pretty big. So again, it doesn't really matter what mold you have. You can kind of do your own crazy thing. Let me show you what it comes out looking like. So here is my finished product. Stir it up. Oh my God, look at how delicious that looks. And then, absolutely phenomenal. So you might need to add a little bit less, you might need to add a little bit more, but the beauty of this is you're giving it as a gift. So once you're done, you can take this fancy thing and go ahead and put it in either plastic wrap or whatever, or if you want to get super fancy, so I would put it in this plastic container right here, put a nice little ribbon on this, and then maybe put it in a mug, and that would be my gift. That way all they have to do is unwrap it, drop it in the mug, and add milk or water or whatever to it. And that's pretty much how you make a cocoa bomb. Super simple. The hardest part is working with the molds and then making sure the temperature of your chocolate is the white, where it needs to be. But once you have this and you know how to make the molds, you can kind of put whatever you want in the center. It doesn't have to be a cocoa bomb. Like I said, you can make your own Lindt chocolate at home, which would be really cool. So if you have a ganache recipe and you want to share that, feel free to do so. If you try this at home, let us know how delicious it was. Let us know if your kids loved it. Whatever you feel like sharing with us, share with us about this delicious craft that we just made today. So until next week, we'll be making book page snowmen. So if you want to follow along with us next week, grab yourself your oldest paperback that's falling apart that you don't want to throw away because you don't want to you don't want to toss a book, and let's turn it into something we can keep forever. And that makes a really good winter decoration. So until next week, winter book page snowmen. I will see you guys all then. I hope you enjoyed the craft, and I hope it is as delicious for you as it is for me. Until then.